In India, today as we speak, if there is one deity who is the hot favorite among people and their rulers, it is without doubt Rama. Rama, the protagonist of the great Indian epic, the Ramayana, has always been a favorite among kings and for good reasons. The epic holds him up as the supreme warrior and a kind, considerate king who offered his people the perfect rule, the Ramarajya. So it's not surprising why several kings saw in Rama their brand ambassador and wished to identify themselves with this hero god. In this video, we're going to look at one dynasty and one culture that chose to associate itself closely with Rama and Ramayana. A country that's not India, it's Thailand. Friends, welcome to the fantastic world of stories and why we tell them from Culture Katha. Recently, I was in Thailand and there I was struck by the extent of influence Rama and his epic has on the Thai people. I've of course known about the popular Thai version of the Ramayana called Ramakien and have even done a video on the same. For those of you interested in knowing about Ramakien and how it differs from the Valmiki Ramayana, I have shared the link to my video in the description box below. Although I was aware of the Thais' fascination for the epic, when I visited Thailand, I was nevertheless surprised by the deep impact Rama and his story has left on the Thai culture. Even as I entered the city, I found myself driving on a road named Rama the First. There are roads named Rama the Second and Rama the Fourth too. The name Rama is actually the title taken by the kings of the currently reigning Chakri dynasty of Thailand. Today, the country is a parliamentary monarchy whose reigning king is Vajralongkorn, who rules under the title of Rama the 10th. Ramayana's influence on the country goes back to the medieval times. In fact, during the 14th to 18th centuries of the Common Era, a Thai kingdom that arose and flourished there was called the Ayodhya kingdom. The name Ayodhya, as you can guess, was inspired by Ayodhya of India. In its heydays, Ayodhya was among the largest economic powers of the world. Today, sadly, Ayodhya is a city in ruins, thanks to the Burmese army that plundered and vandalized the city in 1767, reducing it to rubbles. But the interesting point here is that Thailand today is largely a Buddhist nation, and so was Ayodhya earlier. Yet, Rama's legacy crossed these religious boundaries and has entrenched itself firmly in the Thai culture. In fact, Ramayana was probably brought to Thailand by Buddhist monks. It's possible that Ramakatha, in the form of a folk ballad, was popular among the people even during the times of the Gautama Buddha. The story of Rama is told in the Dasharatha Jataka as part of the compilation of the Buddhist tales. In the Dasharatha Jataka, Rama is depicted as a bodhisattva, an enlightened being on his journey towards Buddhahood. In this version of the Ramayana, Rama lectures Lakshmana on the impermanence of life, which is at the core of Buddhist teaching. In the context of Thailand's unique blend of Hinduism and Buddhism, it's not surprising to find a Buddhist temple named Saketa, which is actually another name for Ayodhya. And it's not just Rama but Vishnu too, who's closely associated with the Thai royalty. The best illustration of that is the name of the ruling dynasty Chakri, inspired by the chakra, Vishnu's weapon. The chakra features prominently in the royal insignia, and so does Vishnu's Vahana Garuda, which is actually the country's national symbol. Just as Rama was believed to be Lord Vishnu's incarnation on earth, the Thai kings were also considered the earthly representatives of the gods in the heavens. The divinity associated with the human king Rama was probably a reason why his story appealed to the Thai royalty. One finds several references to Rama and Ramayana sprinkled all across Thai culture, be it in classical and folk performing arts such as Khon and Nangyai, or in folklore, or even in everyday proverbs and sayings. But Thailand's greatest ode to the god and the epic is the Ramakien, the literary version of the Ramayana. Ramakien, which means the glory of Rama, is Thailand's national epic. Although nearly 10 Thai versions of the Ramayana were said to have existed during the medieval period, the existing version was composed by the first Thai king of the currently ruling Chakri dynasty in the year 1797 of the Common Era. This king incidentally started the Chakri dynasty and was the first to take the title of Rama. And it's his version of the epic that's been painted on the cloister walls of the temple of the Emerald Buddha at the Grand Palace, the most important landmark of Bangkok. 178 beautifully painted murals adorning the temple walls that run nearly 2 kilometers visually narrate key episodes from the story of Fra Rama, or Ramadeva as he is fondly called by the Thais. There is so much of fluidity and motion in these murals that the story comes alive before your eyes. The characters are always shown to be in continuous movement, as if they were dancing. And look at the way the Vanarasena and other people are shown seated, palms folded in loving devotion to Rama. And you'd be surprised to find how even today the Thais present themselves before the king in the exact same posture. While Ramakien largely follows the story as told in the Valmiki Ramayana, it does tend to focus a lot on the war portions of the epic. Battles between different characters in the epic go on and even continue after Sita has been rescued and Rama has returned to Ayodhya. Even Bharata and Shatrughna are shown to fight wars with various demons, including Ravana's progeny. The elaborate war sequences are probably what one should expect to find in an epic composed by a king. It is said that the incessant wars that the Thais had to fight with their quarrelsome neighbors, the Burmese, had a huge influence on Ramakien's narrative. Yet another interesting thing about the Ramakien is that here, Hanuman assumes a very different persona from the one we are familiar with back home in India. The biggest difference is that the Thai Hanuman is no bachelor god. Unlike Rama, he marries several times and takes for himself the wives of all the asuras he defeats. And this is exactly what the kings and generals of yesteryears did with their enemies' women. In that sense, Ramakien is probably more reflective of royal reality. Friends, Ramakien is considered a national epic because in Rama, people see their ideal king. In him, they see the Buddhist virtues of kindness, compassion, generosity, and self-sacrifice. A Thai king is thus expected to use his absolute power only for the benefit of the people and make his rule Ramarajya, resembling the ideal rule of Ram. I guess Ramarajya is what people of all countries want too and expect from their rulers. A ruler who'd put his own personal interests behind and keep his subjects' interests at the fore. A king who'd treat the tribal Shabari and the boatman Guha like they were his own. A king who'd rather punish himself than silence a citizen who was critical of him and his reign. Friends, while we wait for the return of Rama and Ramarajya, we still have the Ramayana. So it's Tata Bye, take care till I meet you all once again with more such interesting stories from Culture Katha.